Bang, bang, pow! Welcome back everybody to another One Piece discussion video. Today's topic will revolve around Blackbeard and the chances that he may already have a mythical Zoan Devil Fruit. But before we hop into today's video, I have to give a brief spoiler warning. If you're not caught up to chapter 1044 at least, then do not watch this video. But with that being said, let's hop right into it. So if you're caught up to One Piece, then you may know the small fact that Luffy has the mythological type Zoan Devil Fruit of Sun God Nika. And with Luffy having such a massive power spike and major curveball thrown at us, then it would only make sense for Blackbeard, the potential main villain of the entire series, to have a similar power spike or something that might match Luffy's abilities. Yes, the man is already very powerful with 2 Devil Fruits at his disposal, but what if there was a third? Or, better yet, what if he already has a mythological Zoan Devil Fruit? Alright, so to get right into it, today's discussion video will revolve around Is Coffee's Reddit thread. It is titled Chapter 1044 on Blackbeard's Devil Fruit. From 1044, we've learned from the Godosei that Zoan fruits have a mind of their own. From the meeting of Ace and Blackbeard in chapter 441, which I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but 441, 1044, very close. We've read from Blackbeard that the ability chose me, and that the Devil Fruit is different from the rest of the other Logias. Which it's funny because when you read that chapter and when you see Blackbeard say those words, you look at it and you're like, man, this guy's a psychopath. Of course the Devil Fruit chose him. He killed somebody for it. He killed Commander Thatch for this Devil Fruit. But now that we look back at it, what if the fruit actually willed it? What if the fruit actually wanted to be in the hands of Blackbeard? So just to read the reference here, Ace says, "Is that why you killed Thatch and took the fruit?" And then Blackbeard says, "Well, it was just a twist of fate. The ability chose me, Ace. Zihahaha. Now I've become the strongest with this, Ace. Look, this is something completely different from the rest of the other Logias," which my mind is blown. When I saw this reference, I was like baffled that nobody picked this up sooner. Because we should have known. Blackbeard has a Logia classed Devil Fruit. All the Logias past Blackbeard and before Blackbeard, whenever you hit their body, they normally like turn into whatever it is, right? You have Luffy attacking Akainu. Akainu like has a giant hole made out of magma. You can't hurt him. You need Haki to hurt these guys. Blackbeard is different. He can't transform into darkness. When you hit Blackbeard, he takes that damage. And not just that, he takes double damage. Isn't that weird? I cannot believe nobody really thought of this earlier. Normally, all the theories talking about Blackbeard's weird indifference to Logias has usually been, oh, it's because he has a second personality, he might have a weird body, and he just naturally takes that double damage. What if that's not the case? What if it's actually a mythological Zoan Devil Fruit and it's just miscategorized just like Luffy's Devil Fruit? Now that we know it's possible, and now that we know that Blackbeard's Devil Fruit doesn't work like other Logias. And that's funny because this is something that has been said about Luffy's Devil Fruit a countless amount of times throughout the series, and we paid it no mind. So when Blackbeard says it here, we should pay really close attention to this, in my opinion. It is known that Oda uses contrasts and opposites. The Godosei claim that the Nika fruit has the most ridiculous power in the world, while Blackbeard claims that he is the strongest in the world, which may point out that Blackbeard is actually the direct opposite of Luffy, even with the will, which we already know of. However, this may imply Blackbeard's Yami no Mi is also a Zoan of a god model, but the god of darkness. This may be true as the yin-yang, where the light is balanced by the dark. The power of the Yami no Mi is really beyond the realms of Logia, which may actually suggest that he is not a Logia after all. And it goes on and references the Godosei's comments about Luffy's Devil Fruit, mentioning that it is the most ridiculous power in the world. And moving on, he says, an additional clue that I think would point that the Nika fruit and the Yami no Mi Devil Fruit similarity is with their look. They actually look very similar, except for the stem, and that the Yami no Mi has a pointed section, while the Nika Devil Fruit is almost spherical. This may imply something about their similarity. And then he shows the 2 pictures here, and yes, they do look very alike. You have the Gama no Mi, which is like version 1.0, and then you have the Yami no Mi, which looks like an evolved version of the Gamu no Mi. So it's kind of crazy how similar they look. And there's no way Oda would have ran out of shapes by then, right? Because Oda pulls out a bunch of unique looking Devil Fruits afterwards. So you can't make the argument that, oh, Oda must have just ran out of shapes to make. No, this looks very intentional. Given these, the current situation may actually hint about the Yami no Mi's awakening as a god devil fruit. From the meeting of Shanks and the Godosei, we saw that Shanks wants to do something about a certain pirate, and we know how strongly he despises Blackbeard, especially with how Blackbeard dealt a scar on his face. Near this chapter, we also saw that Imu wants to extinguish not only Luffy, but Blackbeard as well, which may point to similarities about their magnitude and impact on world events. Similarly, all the worst generation with the Will of D in One Piece have awakened their devil fruits, while Blackbeard was not under the radar for some time now. The Wano arc may actually end with the development on Blackbeard. And then he shows a picture here, and yes, Blackbeard was also targeted by Imu-sama, which is something a lot of people overlook. Whenever people talk about this scene here, they're like, oh my god, Imu's after the ancient weapons, he's after Shirahoshi, he's after Vivi and Alabasta. Nobody mentions Blackbeard. They kind of look at Luffy like, oh my god, not Luffy, please don't kill Luffy. But Blackbeard is right, he's the biggest wanted poster. I don't know how, but he's the biggest wanted poster. And then Shanks going to the Godosei telling them about a certain pirate. And here's the thing with this, right? Shanks telling the Godosei about a certain pirate, a lot of people believe he told them about Luffy. And I'm kind of in the same boat as well, right? Because after this chapter, the Godosei are like, hey, like Luffy is a threat. Luffy has a crazy devil fruit. He's gonna awaken it soon. And you know what? It's the sun god Nika fruit. We have to stop him. Why did they not mention this beforehand? Why is it only now that the Godosei are concerned with Luffy? The only plausible explanation is that they learned about it from Shanks, and then they called Imu. They're like, hey, is this true? Like, does Luffy really have this crazy devil fruit? And Imu's like, yes, that is correct. It has eluded us for 800 years. How do you know about this? And Shanks is the one who told him about it. I can see that being a very plausible theory, but what if he also mentioned the opposite of Luffy's devil fruit? What if Shanks also told them about Blackbeard's devil fruit as well, saying, hey, the one person that can stop Blackbeard and his crazy, unique Logia or Zoan type devil fruit is the sun god Nika fruit, the exact opposite of Blackbeard's devil fruit. I know I'm kind of, headcanoning this really hard right now, but that's what I believe. That's what I think is happening right now. That is the only way the plot hole of nobody stopping Luffy beforehand actually makes sense. It would only make sense if the Godosei did not know about this fruit until the golden hour, until that chapter where Shanks told them about it or Imu-sama told them about it. So moving on, let's look at some of the comments. Bro, I just posted the same post about it, but yeah, you're right. He must also have a mythical Zoan like Luffy, since it doesn't operate like normal Logia, and it would fit the parallel. And the comment below that says, my thought is if Zoans can have a will of their own, Blackbeard's fruit carries Xebec's will. It explains Zoro and Luffy calling him them. It also explains the name of his ship, his choice of hideout, his seemingly conflicting personalities of cowardice and brazenness, and Ace's comment that he has seen twice as much as anyone, and the fact that his fruit has an epithet like Luffy's, the most evil fruit in history. It would be weird to call a random piece of fruit evil, unless the fruit has a will of its own, like Luffy's, or the Yami no Mi was used for some very heinous activities back during Xebec's time period. Or even better, if we wanted to run that parallel between this fruit and Sun God Nika, you could even make the argument that somebody back in the past during the Void Century might have had this fruit as well. And the one thing I want to say about this guy's theory right here is simply the fact that I do not believe it has Xebec's will within it. And the reason I say that is simply because Blackbeard was always sleepless. Ever since he was a kid, he could not go to sleep. He was described as somebody that has seen twice as much as anyone before he ate the Yami no Mi. So I feel like he might have already had Xebec's will within him by some odd chance. And if that's the case, then Blackbeard consuming this Zoan devil fruit that has another personality within it, like Luffy's Sun God Nika fruit, now Blackbeard has 3 personalities clashing within him, hence his Jolly Roger that has 3 freaking skulls, hence the number 3 being synonymous with Blackbeard himself. Alright, so moving on to the final comment, it says, I was actually thinking about Xebec and Nika along these lines. If Luffy evolved by inheriting Nika's will, then is it possible Blackbeard is the same for Xebec? People are so worried about reincarnation, but in my opinion, that would not go with what's already been set up in the story so far at all. I think it's far more likely that inherited will gets reignited by the right candidates instead of the spirit of the dead literally possessing somebody. So yeah, maybe Blackbeard actually has a Xebec fruit. So here's the one problem with this, is that to our knowledge, Sun God Nika existed 900 plus years ago. We know that Joy Boy had the Sun God Nika fruit, but for all we know, Sun God Nika could have existed way past then, before Joy Boy even ate that fruit. And here's the thing, Rox was alive literally 40 years ago. So what are the chances he's this mythological creature that has darkness powers and he somehow manifested a devil fruit within that 40-year gap? I don't think that's possible. What I think happened is that yes, maybe Rox had that same devil fruit, but Rox's personality and will was already inherited by Blackbeard, and that's what told him to get that devil fruit in the first place. That's why Blackbeard has so many similarities as Rocksteady Xebec, choosing to have the same hideout as him, choosing to have ships named after him. And then by eating that Yami Yami no Mi, he gained a third kind of will or personality, something to oppose Sun God Nika and Luffy's devil fruit. And there's a lot of theories like this going out there that, you know, maybe he has a moon devil fruit, or maybe even a devil fruit with some underworldly powers. And here's the thing, before chapter 1044, I really liked the theories that he had the Kraken devil fruit, or maybe he had the Cerberus fruit. Those were really cool ideas. But now that we have the revelation that Zoans have a mind of their own and a will of their own, and that Blackbeard said this ability chose him, and on top of the fact that his devil fruit does not work like the other Logias out there, the possibilities that he actually has another mythological Zoan type devil fruit, they're really freaking high right now. All right, so with all that being said, thank you guys so much for joining me on today's discussion topic. Make sure to show the Reddit thread some love down below. I will link them as the top comment. And please let me know your thoughts on this theory. Do you think Blackbeard might have a devil fruit to rival Luffy's mythological Zoan, or no, he has a basic Logia, and the fact that his devil fruit doesn't work like others is just because it's weird and not actually a Zoan devil fruit? Or maybe you're even still holding out on the fact that he gets a really strong Zoan. But here's the thing though, I think Blackbeard at the end of the day will have 3 devil fruits. It's kind of foreshadowed in his whole character. If he already has a mythological Zoan and he already has a really strong Paramecia, now he needs a really strong Logia. And what if, I don't know, man, maybe this is just the cynic in me, but what if he actually kills Sabo and takes his Meta no Mi, and boom, he has the trifecta, Logia, Zoan, and a Paramecia. This man would be unstoppable, and that would give Luffy a genuine reason to hate Blackbeard. He already hates him for, you know, doing everything to Ace, but he doesn't really have a real reason to go after Blackbeard and to just fight him outright. But if he tries to fight Sabo and take his Meta no Mi, then boom, Luffy would be triggered. He would be so upset if Blackbeard were to take another brother from him. But like I said, this is all headcanon, this is all speculation, it is all fun and games, so we do not really know anything until Oda gives it to us on a silver platter. Please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. It would really mean the world to me, and I would love to hear what you guys have to say. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys next time. Sai, signing out.